there, and welcome to the Animag Podcast.
Hey, and what is up, everybody? Welcome back to Animag, the #1 podcast that's guaranteed to blow your eardrums out. Baby, I'm your host, Asylum, sitting here with...
Damicus.
And today, he has not made your ears bleed, ladies and gentlemen.
Well, you're gonna have to find that out when you edit.
Well, the waves are looking a little bit better than they were last week. It was to a point where, we were already behind schedule last week. So by the time I saw these waves and I got halfway through editing, I'm like, fuck it. This is going up, and I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah. My internet died.
Last week was an absolute shit show for Animag. Internet died, so we had to record the podcast late. Then Friday, on podcast release day, the website shit out on us. We spent pretty much the whole weekend working on that and getting that back in order. So hopefully this week will be a little bit better for us.
Yeah, hopefully.
But I'm thinking that this next episode's going to be a filler episode.
We're just gonna keep it short and sweet.
It scares me, though. Why are they doing fillers this late in the season?
I don't think it was like a filler.
Not this episode. I'm talking about next episode with Sumi. I think that's going to be a filler.
No. She's celebrating Kazuya's birthday.
She is, but she's how late now? Weeks late?
Well, she probably gotten word on the street that Ruka and Kazuya was going to do something on Sunday.
I mean, we all know Ruka and Kazuya did a little something in this episode, so let's dive in so we can talk about it. So the episode starts off where we left off on the last one. Ruka's in the bathroom area with Kazuya, and they are kissing. So this kiss, first of all, was far too long and drawn out. And for me, when they showed her tongue going deep into Kazuya's throat, that's when it worsened for me.
Yeah, thank God I took the blue pill.
You were on a blue chew while watching that scene. I know you had to squeeze one out.
No. Not that. It's from rehab. I got a blue pill and a green pill.
Oh, did they give you pills to control that?
Yes.
Okay, coming soon. We're gonna shoot a vlog and test it out.
I think I didn't even need the pill for that because that was just straight disgusting.
It was the spit going from Kazuya's mouth to her mouth that really grossed me out for that scene.
That, you already know Ruka's age is 17.
Yeah, she's 17 and he's what, 20, 21? Get a grip, my dude. Get a fucking grip.
I think, is Kazuya older than Chizuru by 1?
Yeah, I think he is. So he should be 21. So Kazuya eventually stops her after letting it go on for more than a few minutes. And honestly, this is gonna mentally fuck him up for this entire episode. He says, "We can't," to which we hear his grandma, who's in the other room with Chizuru, say, "Oh, it's time for a bathroom break." And thankfully, Chizuru stops the grandma. She says, but Kazuya's still in there. Ruka winds up apologizing, saying how she knows she crossed the line there, but she didn't regret doing it because, after all, she doesn't want to lose, obviously talking about the great race between her and the other girls being Mami, Sumi, and Chizuru.
Sorry, they all passed you up.
Oh yeah, everybody else is ahead of Ruka. So what made the kissing scene even nastier for me, this is after I see the spit, was the fact that as Ruka's walking out from the bathroom area, she looks at Kazuya and she says, "That stuff about your first kiss tasting of lemons or strawberries was a lie, huh? Mine just tasted like booze." So now we know that that was her first kiss, and that's gonna pop back up later in this episode. Ruka had her first kiss. And when she gets back into the living room, we hear Chizuru ask...
Hold up.
Okay.
Damn. When you said that, no applause.
For what? Her first kiss?
Ruka's first kiss, yeah.
I'm gonna insert some crickets. No one wants to see her win, that's the thing. We all want to see Chizuru win. Before we have to wait an entire episode for this, we do get another Chizuru shower scene in this episode, so get ready.
But my thing is, she wants to impress the parents, but what if they would have just walked in on them kissing and then...
Honestly, I think...
They basically would think that she's a slut.
True.
Or she just wants to be close to Kazuya so she could steal.
I think if the grandma would have walked in, it wouldn't have been a big problem for her. It would have been a bigger problem for Kazuya. Because you know she is towards him when it comes to oh, you're betraying Chizuru, beats the shit out of him.
Yeah, we've seen that last episode.
When Ruka gets back into the living room, we hear Chizuru ask, "Where's Kazuya?" And Ruka says, "Oh, He's using the bathroom. But does that not seem a little sus to them that both Kazuya and Ruka were in the bathroom area with the door closed for that long? They're just like, oh, okay, yeah, he's in the bathroom.
Yeah, I had to take a shit.
I had to take a shit and Ruka was talking to me. And then boom, intro hits. So after the intro, when everyone is back in the living room, you can clearly see that this kiss is getting to Ruka, but you can also tell that it's getting to Kazuya a little bit as he's kind of looking at her lips with his heart beating super fast in this scene. And Chizuru even says, "Are you two okay? You both look pretty pale." And the grandma throws in to this by saying, "Yeah, where did all your energy go? Did something happen?" And Kazuya's like, "Oh no, we're good."
Sus.
Then he starts to think in his head about just how crazy the kiss was. He says he was putting her through more stress than he realized, and how all the things that she was doing, like going to his place and blowing up on mommy, were all signs that this was inevitable. He even thinks back to the past conversation they had and how she was saying she was ready to have her first kiss. He says this isn't right, wasting your first kiss on this pathetic excuse for a relationship? Damn, bro, say how you really feel about Ruka. He's starting to feel bad about how he's starting to
feel bad.
Dude, he is.
She invited herself to this fucking party.
She did bring this upon herself, but she's also kind of trying to be a good girlfriend. Like, what girlfriend just misses her boyfriend's birthday party? We still don't know the conversation or why he had wanted to do something with her Sunday versus just on the birthday at the party with everybody. He's feeling remorseful for how he's been treating Ruka because he feels like he pushed her into the situation where she kissed him or felt like she needed to kiss him because she's stressed out or whatever. And right here, things get a little interesting. The grandma cuts in, Kazuya's grandma, and she says how she almost forgot that she had a gift for Chizuru. And she pulls out a ring box. She explains how this was her ring from when she was married. And then Kazuya's mom also had that very same ring. And this has all three of the younger people at the house in shock. Kazuya's in his head. He's like, oh, hell no. And the grandma says how they really didn't have anything else to offer her, and she couldn't think of a more appropriate gift for an angel like Chizuru. Chizuru even tried to turn it down by saying she can't take something so important to the family. And Kazuya kind of notices that Chizuru's in a pickle right here, and he stands up and he's about to say something to help her get out of her situation when Ruka grabs the back of his shirt. And I guess this was kind of notioning to him to not do or say anything and let Chizuru kind of suffer in this moment for a little bit. I don't think Ruka wanted Kazuya to say anything and stop the situation. Or she was hoping that the truth would come out about how they're not actually dating. And as the grandma's telling Chizuru to try it on, Kazuya finally speaks up and he says, we can't accept it. The show obviously drags this on for longer than they need it to, but basically he says how he can't have Chizuru accepting a gift like this for the reason that they are broken. And then right before he can finish saying broken up, Chizuru's phone rings. Saved by the fucking bell.
Saved by the notification.
Saved by the phone call.
Notification, man.
It was a call.
Go get yourself some Alti.
Oh my god.
Use code ANIMAG at 10% checkout. She had 2 notifications. She had a phone call and some Alti.
Chizuru drinks Alti?
Yeah. If Hagura drinks Alti, then
hey,
Chizuru.
I guarantee you Hagura is a blue ras kind of man.
Indeed.
She takes the call and she comes out of the bathroom looking really worried, which is what we saw at the end of the last episode. She learned that her grandma had become unresponsive at the hospital. And right here, the camera shows Kazuya, and it's him saying, that was the moment everything began. Like, is this referring to him and Chizuru's actual relationship? Because, I mean, from what I saw some spoilers from a manga, and like, after Chizuru's grandma dies, she's definitely gonna go back to Kazuya and like hug him or look for comfort within him. And him saying this in this episode, that was the moment everything began, leads me to believe that he's talking about that was the moment our real relationship began. I don't know. Could be overthinking that, but I feel like that's what it is.
Unless this is future Kazuya.
I think that's what it was. I think future Kazuya was saying that as a narrative scene. He was saying that was the moment everything began.
Dude, if it goes to the end of the Rent-A-Girlfriend and we get to see future Kazuya, hopefully he ain't a bitch no more.
Hopefully this man's just with Chizuru and he's finally just happy and not fucking miserable.
I think he ends up with Chizuru.
100%. 100%.
If he's gonna point that out, then...
Don't get me wrong. Yeze made a few solid points in a conversation I had with him that he could end up with Ruka, but I really don't think so. I really think it's Chizuru. I think Ruka...
somebody from effing Tower of Fantasy fucking spoiled it.
And he does end up with Chizuru?
Yeah.
I'll allow that spoiler, but that's it. No other spoilers on this show. After Chizuru learns about her grandma, everyone hops in a cab and heads to the hospital. And I want to note that they just left Ruka behind. They're like, yeah, bitch, you can go home by yourself. We got to go to the hospital. And they get to the hospital and Kazuya's grandma's like, you two go ahead. I'll pay for the cab, which Chizuru is a little hesitant about because, you know, she wants to pay. She's there to see her grandma, but Kazuya grabs her arm and he's like, let's go. We see a flashback here of when Chizuru's grandma was asking Kazuya to always be there for her. This right here is proof that he is doing just so by going to the hospital with her in the time of need. They get in the room and her grandma actually looks fine. She's joking around, having fun with Kazuya's grandma, and Kazuya's grandma apologizes for inviting Chizuru over when her grandma was so sick, and she replies by saying, oh, it's fine, because she could see in Chizuru's face how much she actually wanted to go to the party. And right here, we see Kazuya looking over at Chizuru with his mouth wide open like, oh my god, she wanted to come to the party. And Chizuru's like, Grandma, what are you saying? And then she looks over at Kazuya with a blank face because she knows as well as we do that he's probably sitting there overthinking it. Or she was generally upset that she got outed.
I think it was because she got outed.
I think it was. She was a bit embarrassed. So then a doctor comes in. He asks to speak privately with Chizuru. And as she's walking out, she tells Kazuya to watch over the grandmas. And in his head, he's like, wow, her asking me to do this was so natural and couple-like. Then we see both of the grandmas looking at Kazuya, getting ready to blast him with questions about Chizuru and his relationship. Which of course they do, because that's what grandmas do. So cut to some time later, and Kazuya's walking down a hall because the grandmas sent him to go get some snacks when he runs into Chizuru, and she tells him that the doctor had bad news. She says how her grandma seems perfectly fine, but does not have much time left, and he asks if it's gonna be okay, to which she replies with, no, definitely not okay, and he goes, no, are you okay? And then she's like, what, are you worried about me now? But like, yeah, he's always worried about your ass, Chizuru. Like, I don't like how she said that to him, like, what, you're worried about me now? Like, you can't tell that this dude is fucking head over heels for you? I don't know if I took that the wrong way. Maybe, like, you know, when something bad's happening, she's just not in her head all there. Like, she's really focused about her grandma. She just got news that her grandma's not gonna make it, you know? So maybe that's why she said it in that tone.
Yeah.
And it seems like she has mentally prepared herself for what is to come with her grandma. You know, she's just like, yeah, my grandma doesn't have much time left. And I think she has spent so much time with her grandma at this point. She knows she's sick. She knows she's old. You know, you can't really just sit and sulk if there's nothing you can do about it. You can just truly enjoy the time you have with that person left. That's my official Animag advice for this episode.
Oh god, Animag advice?
That deep advice on this one. Just enjoy. If it's a situation where you can't do anything, it's out of your hands, there's no need to sulk and be sad while that person is still there with you. Enjoy the time you have left with them. And I think that's what Chizuru's doing. So he takes off walking right past Chizuru. And she's like, where are you going? He goes, isn't it obvious? I'm going to tell your grandma that our relationship was a lie. I can't cause you any more trouble. If we're running out of time, this is all the more reason to come clean. So he goes to walk away again, and we see Chizuru grab his shirt sleeve. And she says, I don't want her to know. I don't want to tell my grandma that we're breaking up. Yeah, and she says she's taken a real liking to you, and she's worried that I'll end up alone after she's gone. So basically, she's saying that they might as well keep up this fake relationship to keep Chizuru's grandma happy, seeing as she doesn't have much time left anyways. And honestly, what would be the point of telling her grandma now? You know, you're just gonna make that lady sad, and then she's gonna die sad. Just keep it up for a little while longer.
Nah, they wouldn't be sad. They would be beating the shit out of Kazuya. who broke up with who? Kazuya did. What?
So after she walks away to go back to her grandma, Kazuya asks himself if this is really the right thing to do. When I said Ruka's kiss really mentally fucks him up in this episode, that's what I mean right here. I think Ruka's kiss has really shaken him up to a point where he is super in his feels now, because not only did he almost out him and Chizuru's fake relationship at the party, he was willing to go do it again to the other grandma. All because I think Ruka's kiss has shaken this man up. So as they're leaving the hospital, Kazuya's grandma sends him to get a cab, and she's like, make sure it's a pretty one. My angel Chizuru deserves the best. And the grandma turns and she looks at Chizuru. And at first I thought she was mad because that's kind of how her face looked, like she was pissed off about something. But then she hands the ring box to Chizuru again, and she says straight up, your grandma isn't gonna make it, is she?
Oh, that one hit.
Yeah, that one hit big time. And like, you know, Kazuya's grandma is also an old lady who has experienced life, so she can tell that her friend's not gonna make it. Kazuya's grandma says she looks all happy, but one look at her face tells the whole story. She says, I heard you have no family, so if worse comes to worse. And as she's saying all of this, she grabs Chizuru's hand and she's putting the ring box inside of her hand. She says, then if you ever need any money, you can pawn this off. Talking about the ring. And she's like, no need to wear it if you don't want to. So in the cab ride home, we hear Kazuya saying, this is like an internal monologue in his head. He says, Chizuru was putting on a brave face, but she looked smaller to me that day. She was probably weighted down by pain, fear, sorrow, and a ton of emotions. They get back to their apartments. First off, I love the captions that they always put over his fish.
Yeah.
He gets inside of his apartment, and one of the captions over the fish said, wow, look who finally decided to show up. And then another one said, you better have brought some good food. And we cut to Chizuru in her apartment, and guess what? She's taking a shower. I mean, she looks really sad in this shower scene, but she's still taking a shower. And then bam, credit roll. But for this episode, after the credit roll, we actually get more of the episode in this one. So it was Kazuya and Ruka, and they're eating out somewheres. And Kazuya's feeling awkward, obviously, because of the kiss. And they're eating some kind of pancakes, and Ruka's like, oh, the cream just melts in your mouth. And this makes this man even more nervous and awkward. And Ruka asks if Chizuru and her grandma are both okay. Kazuya's like, yeah, they are. I'm sorry we made you go home alone. And Ruka's like, oh, it's okay because it was an emergency situation. And then she says that she's calling a truce with Chizuru and Kazuya for now. She says how she still wants to be Kazuya's girlfriend, but she understands the nature of the situation and that this is not the time to go on the offensive. I think seeing Kazuya almost tell his grandma that they weren't actually dating opened up Ruka's eyes a bit. And honestly, in this scene at the restaurant, she actually seemed really mature, or at least more mature than we're used to seeing. You know what I'm saying? Because she's understanding like this is bigger than all three of them. Like Chizuru's grandma's probably gonna die, so maybe slack off a bit and let Chizuru get as much happiness as she can before that happens. Something like that. I don't know.
Guess. But she's staying off the fucking podium for sure.
Yeah, 100%.
Sumi's in third place, bitch.
We'll see next episode, man. We'll see what she got him for his birthday. So as they're leaving the restaurant, Ruka says, by the way, whenever you want to do it, just let me know.
No!
And then she's like, so kissing is fair game now, though. And he's like, what? No. Then his face turns beet red, obviously embarrassed that she would even say that. And she gives him a birthday present, but we don't get to see what it was. So that has me kind of curious. It was in a little bag. But didn't she give him a tie at his grandma's?
Yeah.
So she got him another gift. Very interested. It's probably condoms in a bag.
That's what I was about to say.
So on his way home, he has a little breakdown on the side of the road. He says, I've finally made up my mind to come clean about Chizuru and I, and now they're both against it, which is true. Now Chizuru doesn't want him to say anything about the fake relationship, nor does Ruka. They're all just kind of like, ugh. So I can understand how he's feeling in that moment. You finally make up your mind. You say, okay, I'm going to cut the shit, telling everybody the truth. And now everyone involved's like, no, don't say nothing about it. So after this, for the next episode roll, we see a calendar with Kazuya's birthday on it, and we see a gift on a desk. Then we see Sumi, and she punches her fist, and she's like, let's do this. Thomicus, get excited. Your boo is here.
No, that ain't my boo.
Then we hear Ruka talking to Chizuru. You don't see them. You know how Rent-A-Girlfriend does. It's just them talking. And Ruka's saying to Chizuru how she's called a truce for now. But she's like, but promise me one thing. No kissing Kazuya. And then out of nowhere, she's like, wait, he's the one we need to be worried about because they showed him walking with Sumi. And she's like, that's it. I'm calling off the truce. And the next episode's called Guide and Girlfriend. And that's the episode.
Oh, God.
Really short. I wish it would have been longer.
Same. I wish it would have been longer.
I mean, I think we overanalyzed it in the last podcast episode and we hyped ourselves up. But honestly, even if we would have never did that, I would have expected more out of this episode.
I just think they wasted so much time on that kissing scene.
Oh, God, yeah.
They should have took that out, started from, hey, we're back. Cool.
I mean,
they gave some more.
Looking at this episode as a whole, monumentally, the only real important piece of the story that we got is now we know for sure Chizuru's grandma has very little time left. Other than that, you know, nothing that's really that important to the story. The ring could kind of be important, but I don't think so. Okay, here's what I think. I think Kazuya's gonna have a moment where he might run into Chizuru, and she's actually wearing the ring. So
the ring.
If that doesn't happen, somebody needs to get in touch with the people that write for the show and get me in and let me start writing.
I'm sorry, but I feel like Chizuru is gonna end up with Kazuya though, because the Arthur
is in love with her.
Is madly in love.
Oh,
with his.
Hey,
that's why.
Hey, I can see why. You saw that lady doing the splits in the last episode.
Just too much shower
scenes. Dude, yeah, she's already had like 3 shower scenes this season. What the fuck? So, I don't know. Like, this episode wasn't a terrible one, but to me, it also really wasn't a banger. Honestly, I'm gonna have to probably give it a 6, man.
The episode was good and all, but like, it didn't hit until like the end. Like where the grandma situation was.
Yeah.
If they wouldn't have that kissing scene.
The kissing scene really did it for Thomicus.
Yeah, I was fucking disgusted. And just to say, if you fucking thought that was an amazing and you're like,
dude, it wasn't.
A fucking grown ass adult that thought that was hot.
That was nasty. That was definitely not hot.
If you caught a boner for that.
Hey, you said you were taking blue chews and watching the scene.
No, it's rehab pills.
Rehab pills.
Rehab pills. Because let's just say
we know some people that might think that was hot, and it was definitely not. It was gross as fuck. Not only because it's a kiss, but because of her age and his age. The age gap is something that I just can't. My brain's like, nope. This is gonna get a 6 in my book.
This one, I'd say a 6. I was gonna go with 5, but like
I don't think it was terrible. I just wish they would have gave us a little more for the story, since we're so close to the end.
And not the fucking kissing.
So we watched episode 10. We have like maybe 2 episodes left. And they're either gonna just leave us on nothing or leave us on a cliffhanger that's just a filler cliffhanger. And I can't take that.
Just like, let's just, what if after episode 12, we don't see like we're gonna be back. What if he adds 12 more episodes?
That would be extremely fire. And Chainsaw Man would have to be put on hold because we would definitely do Rent-A-Girlfriend.
People have been saying Chainsaw Man is hype.
I mean, yeah, it's been the #1 manga, but that doesn't always mean it's going to be doesn't mean it's going to be a good show.
Anime.
So hopefully, like I said, this week coming up, I think it's going to be filler because at this point, Sumi doesn't have enough CD for her to be in an episode and it not be a filler episode. So that means episode 11 would be filler. And that means the next week, the final episode 12 of the season, better be a banger.
Well, we're going to find out if it's going to be the end of the season.
I think it is because the first season was 12 episodes.
Well, like they did in the first season, then they said, we'll be back.
I mean, yeah, but they weren't back for another 2 years. So,
God damn.
Exactly. If it's a shitty cliffhanger, I'm reading the mangas. I'm not waiting anymore.
Oh, so we're gonna start reading the chapter.
I mean, I'm just gonna fucking hammer it, and then we might come back on our own and just do a full discussion about it. I'm not gonna read every chapter to you guys, but I need to know what happens in this story. I need to know if Chizuru wins.
Chizuru will win.
She better, bro.
She does.
And watch, he goes back to mommy.
Ayo.
Ayo. So that's going to pretty much do it for this week's episode, guys. Thank you for listening. We appreciate you. Wow, why'd I say it like that? Thank you for dealing with the bullshit that went down this past Friday on the site. And you're always there for us, which means we will always be there for you. And until the next time, take it easy and so long, everybody.
Sayonara. Thank you for listening. Be sure to tune in at www.animag.org. Bye. See ya.